I walk into Harbor Bluff with salt still tangled in my hair from the docks, steel caliper keychain warm in my palm. Hi guys, I'm Mara Keene, 27, a machinist in training at a small fab shop near Clearwater's Pier. That caliper isn't just a tool, it's proof that even without their name or fortune, I built something that's mine. You don't belong here. My mother, Corinne, fires the words across the oak-paneled room before I can even step fully inside. Luca, my older brother, sprawls at the head of the table in his tailored suit, grinning like the crown was already lowered onto his head. My father, Victor, doesn't lift his eyes from the folder in front of him as he mutters, "Family business, Mara. You chose steel and sketches over legacy." I stand in the doorway, uninvited, the only empty chair shoved against the wall. Their message is clear. Watch, don't sit. But before they can continue, the attorney clears his throat. He holds up a sealed envelope, cream paper thick enough to look ceremonial. Before we begin, I've been instructed to deliver this to Miss Keene. Privately. The room freezes. Corinne blinks twice, as if struck. Victor leans forward, jaw clenched. Luca scoffs. A formality. Don't let her slow us down. My hand closes around the envelope. The weight tells me it isn't symbolic. It's ammunition. Taped inside is a silver key, and beneath Granddad's handwriting, a single line. Read alone. This key returns what was taken. I slip the key into my pocket, the caliper pressing against it like steel beside steel. For the first time, I see fear flicker across Victor's face. Not anger at me receiving something, but dread of what that something unlocks. I don't wait for permission. "I'll be in the library," I say, already turning. Victor's voice snaps like a whip. "Sit down. We're reading the will now." The attorney doesn't flinch. "Mr. Keene, your father's instructions are explicit. No proceedings until Ms. Keene reviews his message." The silence is thick enough to measure. I step out, each stride carrying me closer to a truth they've spent decades trying to bury. Harbor Bluff looms behind me, but in my palm I hold two anchors. One steel, one silver. One I earned, one I inherited. Do you call this loyalty or betrayal? Comment your verdict. Old Town smells of brine and rust, the kind of air that clings to clothes. I push open the heavy brass doors of Harbor and Son Savings, Granddad's chosen bank. The silver key burns in my pocket beside the caliper. My shoes echo across marble tiles worn smooth by decades of secrets. The manager studies the key and my ID, brows furrowed. "Box 407, he murmurs, checking a ledger. "It hasn't been touched in 15 years. He escorts me down a narrow stairwell, walls lined with steel, the air cooler with every step. My pulse thrums like machinery winding up. In the vault corridor, I kneel before the box. The lock resists for a second, then clicks. Metal slides, weight heavy in my hands. Inside rests a leather-bound journal, its cover cracked but intact. On top, a flash drive taped to a sealed envelope. I lift the envelope first. My name scrawled across it in Granddad's careful hand. I open it. A photocopy of a birth certificate stares back at me. My eyes race the lines until they stop cold on one. Mother, Rosa Vale. That isn't Corinne. My hands tremble. A note is clipped to the certificate in Granddad's writing. "What you call your parents, they lied. You weren't born into this family, you were taken into it." Air rushes out of my lungs. I sit back against the vault wall, marble pressing into my spine. My whole life I've been told I was a disappointment, a mistake they endured. And now, maybe I was never theirs to disappoint at all. I reach for the journal. The first page is dated 18 years ago. Granddad's pen strokes. Mara must never know until she is strong enough. I discovered records Victor buried. Corinne signed papers she knew were false. My investigator delivered sworn testimony, but I could not risk open war. Not yet. I flip further, scanning quickly. Attached inside are copies of unfiled court documents, drafts of depositions, even transfer logs of money. $28,500 wired to a caretaker. $92,000 moved through a shell account. Hush money, neat and quiet. My chest tightens. For once, the cruel laughter at dinners, the whispered failure in hallways, the constant reminder that I wasn't one of them. It wasn't just spite. It was fear. Fear that one day I'd discover the truth. Tucked in the back flap of the journal is another sheet. Box 2 is the nail in their coffin. Cascadia Fidelity Bank, registered under your rightful name. Use it when you're ready. The silver key in my pocket suddenly feels like a fuse, and this journal is the match. I carry the journal upstairs like it might detonate if I drop it. Outside, the harbor fog wraps around me, muffling street sounds. I duck into a cafe across from the bank and spread the pages on a sticky table. Each line from Granddad is a blade. He writes about Rosa Vale, my real mother, a woman I never met who died giving birth to me. He says Victor, desperate after years of infertility with Corinne, seized the chance to claim me as theirs. He leaned on old college ties, leveraged grief, and buried the truth under paperwork nobody ever filed. Granddad's shame seeps through the ink. I stayed silent, hoping to repair from within, but Victor turned silence into a weapon. He told Mara she was lesser because he feared she'd uncover she wasn't his at all. My throat knots. I remember every time Luca was praised for achievements I matched, every dinner where I sat at the edge while they toasted him. I thought it was favoritism. Now I see it was preservation. Keeping me small meant keeping me blind. Taped to one page is a faded receipt from a private investigator. Scribbled in the margin, she deserves to know who Daniel Vale was. My eyes blur as I read the next passage. Daniel Vale, my biological father, died in a car crash when I was 2. No surviving family strong enough to challenge Victor. No one to fight for me except Granddad. Too late. The journal catalogs every detail. Money transfers, $28,500 for hospital fees, $92,000 for silence, timelines of when my false papers were signed, names of witnesses who went missing from the record. It reads like an indictment waiting for a courtroom. One page near the back bears a single sentence. They built their legacy on sand. When the tide comes in, it will collapse. My hand hovers over the final insert, an envelope taped shut. I tear it open. Inside, a small card with an address and 2 words scrawled in thick black ink. Box 2, Cascadia Fidelity Bank. My true name, Mara Vale, already on their ledger. A rush of heat climbs my chest. If Box 1 is revelation, Box 2 is judgment. Whatever waits there isn't meant to wound me. It's meant to level them. I close the journal, slide the flash drive into my pocket, and press the caliper against it, steel against steel. Outside, gulls circle overhead, their cries sharp as sirens. I know what I have to do next. Cascadia Fidelity Bank looks nothing like Harbor & Sons. No marble, no wood polish, just glass walls and sterile white corridors that hum with fluorescent light. I step inside, the journal pressed to my chest, the silver key heavy in my palm. When the clerk reads my ID, her eyebrows lift. Box 219, she says, then escorts me past a security door that seals with a hydraulic hiss. The vault here is quieter, colder. My hands shake as I slide the key into the lock. One click, then another, and the drawer slides out with a metallic sigh. Inside rests a manila folder bound with a crimson ribbon. On top, a handwritten page in Granddad's unmistakable script. This trust belongs solely to Mara Vale. Not Keene. Not borrowed. Yours. I untie the ribbon. Documents spill across the steel table. Stock certificates, property deeds, notarized transfers. My breath catches as I scan the totals. A private trust fund valued at $6,300,000 accruing for years. Real estate parcels tucked under shell companies. 42% of Keene Industrial Holdings transferred legally into my name through a clause Victor can't erase. I grip the paper so hard it crumples. Granddad didn't just uncover their theft, he sabotaged it from within. Every year they called me a failure. He was wiring shares to me in silence, building leverage they never suspected. On top of the stack is a notarization docket, CF 219TR. Date stamped, witnessed, airtight. The law is on my side, not theirs. Relief doesn't come. Instead, a chill runs up my spine. My phone vibrates on the table. Unknown number. A text glows. What did you take from the bank? My fingers go numb. They know. Maybe someone tailed me, maybe the bank itself leaked, but the timing is too sharp. This isn't curiosity. It's surveillance. I shove the phone into airplane mode, then slide the documents back into the folder. My heartbeat thunders like machinery at overload, warning of collapse. The caliper digs into my thigh through my pocket, grounding me, reminding me of the life I forged outside of them. As I leave the bank, the city feels altered. Every passing car looks like a tale. Every shadow lengthened by suspicion. I'm not carrying paper. I'm carrying explosives. By the time I reach my apartment, the folder is hidden beneath my coat, my breath tight. I know one thing. They won't wait for me to use this. They'll come first. I lock the apartment door twice before dropping the folder onto my kitchen table. The journal, the certificates, the deeds, they sprawl like puzzle pieces, daring me to assemble them. My hands tremble as I reach for the flash drive from box 1. I plug it into my laptop, screen glowing against the dim light. Granddad's face appears, older than I remember, but his gaze steady. Mara, he begins, voice lined with regret. If you're watching this, it means I'm gone. And it means I failed to stop them. He pauses, shoulders sagging. Victor was my greatest mistake. I gave him the company, the name, my trust. He repaid me by stealing you. Your real mother, Rosa, deserved better. She died giving birth, and instead of honoring her, he turned grief into theft. Your grandparents on her side tried to find you, but they were silenced. Threats, payments. I discovered too late, and I stayed quiet, thinking I could protect you by staying close. His voice breaks. I was wrong. You deserve more than their lies. That trust I left is just the beginning. Use it. Expose the truth. Take what is yours. The screen goes black. My reflection stares back at me, pale, eyes rimmed red. It isn't just validation. It's a command. Then, bang. A fist slams against my front door. I jolt upright. Mara, Luca's voice, sharp through the wood. We need to talk. Another bang, harder this time. The handle rattles. My breath stutters. Dad's voice joins in, low, edged with steel. Open the door. Now I step back, phone clutched in my hand, recording app already running in airplane mode. The camera on my door buzzes alive, logging every sound, every strike. You don't understand what you're holding, Luca growls. Granddad filled your head with nonsense. Let us in before you make it worse. I press my back against the hallway wall, Caliper digging into my palm. They aren't pleading. They're cornered animals, lashing out. The deadbolt holds against another violent kick. Silence follows. Brief, suffocating. Then footsteps retreat down the stairwell. I slide to the floor, pulse hammering. Relief floods me, but only for a second. They know I opened box 2. They know what I have, and they won't stop with knocks. I gather the journal, the flash drive, the trust documents, stacking them with deliberate care. My next move is clear. I need an ally who knows how to weaponize paper and signatures, someone who fights in courtrooms, not living rooms. I grab my phone and scroll to the only name that makes sense, Naomi Chen, Alder and Pike, LLP. Naomi answers on the first ring, her voice crisp, the hum of an office behind her. Mara, you sound shaken. I have documents, I whisper. Trust transfers, birth records, journals? Victor and Luca tried to break into my apartment 20 minutes ago. There's a pause, then paper shuffling. Email me scans. Every page. Use the secure link I'm sending now. I work fast. The journal lies flat under my scanner, the flash drive contents uploading, the trust docket labeled CF219TR attached with timestamps. Within an hour, Naomi calls back, voice low but electric. You don't just have leverage, Mara. You own 42% of Keene Industrial. With the proxies your grandfather locked in, Victor no longer holds majority. And if this goes public, falsifying a birth record is criminal. They're vulnerable on two fronts. I clutch the Caliper keychain until my fingers ache. So I can stop them, I ask. You can do more than stop them, Naomi says. You can walk in and take your seat. The board can't refuse if you show the trust, the transfers, and the DNA report you'll need to corroborate. I'll prep motions tonight. Tomorrow, we walk into their boardroom. I pace the room, the folder heavy under my arm. Every shadow outside my window feels like eyes, but inside me, a new steel forms. For years, I believed silence was my only defense. Now silence is their coffin. Naomi, I say, I want this airtight. Every receipt, every clause, every signature they buried, let's bring it up. Already in motion, she replies. Case intake logged under number AP7712. I'll meet you at the courthouse steps at 9 tomorrow. Bring the originals. When the call ends, I exhale hard. My apartment is cramped, walls thin, but tonight it feels like a command center. I spread the documents again, arranging them in precise order. Journal, certificates, trust docket, birth certificate. Like gears in a machine, aligned for the first time. Outside, sirens wail faintly along Clearwater's main road. I shut my blinds, double-bolt the door, and slip the caliper into my pocket. The cold steel steadies me. Tomorrow, I won't walk in as the forgotten daughter. I'll walk in as the majority voice. And when Victor sees me sit down, it won't be defiance, it will be enforcement. Morning air bites sharp as I cross Clearwater's business district. Folder pressed to my chest, Caliper keychain looped tight around my finger. Naomi waits outside Keene Industrial's glass tower, a slim briefcase in hand, 2 security guards flanking her. She gives me a nod that steadies my nerves. We ride the elevator to the top floor. The boardroom doors open mid-meeting. Victor at the head, Luca pacing beside him. Conversations die. Eyes swivel. Naomi's voice is clear. By statute and by trust instrument CF219TR, my client has legal right to be present. Victor's jaw tightens. This is a family matter. She doesn't belong here. I step forward, sliding the folder onto the polished oak table. I do now. Pages spread. Notarized transfers. Stock certificates. The birth certificate with Roosevale's name. On top, Granddad's journal entry detailing Victor's theft. The silence cracks when Luca laughs, brittle. You think paper makes you more than a charity case? Naomi slides another document across. DNA analysis, chain of custody logged. Combined with these transfers, Mara controls 42% of Keene Industrial. Add the proxies your father can't touch, and effective control shifts. Today, Luca lunges, hand reaching for the folder. One of the guards blocks him, forcing him back. His voice rises, no longer smooth but jagged. This is fraud. She's nobody. I meet his fury with calm. You lied about who I was. That doesn't make me less. It makes you exposed. Victor grips the table, knuckles white. If you release any of this, you'll destroy this family. My family? I say, steady. Or your empire. Silence again, broken only by the sound of Naomi's pen clicking. For the record, she says, case number AP7712 is filed. Injunctions pending. Victor sags into his chair, years etched suddenly deeper across his face. Luca pounds a fist against the wall and storms out, security trailing. I don't move. I simply pull out the caliper, place it beside the folder, and let it gleam under the boardroom lights. Not a threat, a reminder. I measure what fits and what doesn't. and today their legacy no longer fits them. The headlines spread faster than I imagined. Stolen daughter reclaims legacy. By noon, sponsors pull their contracts, legal counsel resigns, and whispers ripple across Clearwater's financial district. My phone won't stop buzzing, but I let it sit silent in my bag. Every alert is proof the mask has cracked. A week later, they summon us back to Harbor Bluff for what they call a continuation of Granddad's will. I arrive last, Naomi at my side, folder in hand. Corinne dabs her eyes with a lace handkerchief, her sorrow rehearsed. Victor sits stiff, lips pressed thin. Luca refuses to meet my gaze. The attorney clears his throat. Before Mr. Keene's estate can be finalized, we must address one more document. He opens a sealed packet, handwriting looping across the first page. This is an addendum your grandfather executed 6 months before his death. Victor shifts uneasily. Corinne's hand trembles, tissue shredding in her grip. The attorney reads aloud. I name my granddaughter, Mara Vale, sole heir to my personal estate. Harbor Bluff, associated properties, all assets under my direct name shall pass to her alone. The words echo like a gavel strike. Corinne gasps. This can't be real. It is, the attorney replies calmly. The document was witnessed, notarized, and entered into the ledger. Naomi slides copies across the table, signatures highlighted. Luca slams his fist against the armrest, muttering, he's burning the family line for her. I don't flinch. I don't smile. I simply let the truth sit where it belongs. Center stage. Corinne breaks into sobs, whispering, we raised you. We fed you. Doesn't that matter? I fold my hands on the table. You raised me as a placeholder. Granddad gave me proof that I was never yours to keep. Victor stares at me, a man cornered by his own shadows. You'll regret this? He says softly, almost pleading. I already regret the years I wasted trying to be yours. Naomi gathers the papers, her voice crisp. The transfer of estate will proceed. Effective immediately. As I rise to leave, the caliper swings at my side, tapping lightly against my leg. A small rhythm, steady and unyielding. Harbor Bluff looms behind me, but for once its weight isn't on my shoulders. Clearwater feels different once the storm settles. I file the paperwork to restore my legal name, Mara Vale. The ink dries fast, yet the sound of it on my tongue lingers. Vale, not Keene. Not borrowed, not forged. Mine. The mansion at Harbor Bluff empties in less than a month. I walk through its echoing halls one last time, fingers brushing carved banisters, portraits that never included me. Then I sign the sale papers and let it go. The proceeds funnel into something better. The Rosa Vale Fund, a foundation for foster kids and youth, aging out of the system. If I couldn't have my mother's arms, at least her name will shelter others. At Keene Industrial, soon to be renamed, I order the first audit in decades. Shell charities collapse under scrutiny. Funds that vanished into consulting reappear on balance sheets, redirected to real programs. I keep a small office with a view of the harbor, though I rarely sit behind the desk. Instead, I walk the factory floor weekly, steel-toed boots and rolled sleeves, speaking with machinists whose names my father never bothered to learn. The Caliper keychain rests on my desk, gleaming under fluorescent light. A reminder that precision isn't just about metal. It's about truth measured without bias. Victor sends no messages. Corinne posts vague laments on social media, painting herself as the victim. Luca vanishes into silence. The empire they worshipped stands but reshaped, stripped of lies. One evening, I drive to the shoreline where Granddad used to take me. I sit on the rocks, journal balanced on my knees, reading his words again. For the first time, I don't cry. I simply breathe, letting the salt air carve space where old wounds lived. Behind me, the city hums. Ahead, the water stretches wide, a horizon I finally get to claim. The last time I see Victor, he waits outside the new gates of the company. No chauffeur, no entourage, just a man leaning on a cane he doesn't need. His eyes are bloodshot, voice rough. You destroyed us. I stand still, folder tucked under my arm, caliper dangling from my hand. No, I answer quietly. You destroyed yourself the day you stole me. I just measured the damage and showed it to the world. He steps closer, hand outstretched like he might still pull me back. You were raised under this roof. Doesn't that count for something? I shake my head. It counts as survival. Not love. Not truth. His hand drops, shoulders caving inward. For the first time, he looks smaller than the shadow he cast all my life. I turn away, leaving him with nothing but the echo of his own choices. That night, I hang Granddad's journal open on one page above my desk, the page with Rosa's name written firm and steady. A mother I never knew, but whose truth outlasted every lie. The company now bears a new sign, Vale Industries. The Rosa Vale Fund launches its first housing project on the west side. And once a week, I still go back to the fab shop near the docks, running calipers across steel, grounding myself in the work that was mine before inheritance. I don't chase revenge anymore. Revenge is fire. It burns fast, leaves ash. What I built is different. It restores. It names me not as a daughter stolen, but as a woman who reclaimed what was denied. For the first time, I'm not waiting for their approval, their scraps, their silence. I'm standing in the life they swore I'd never hold. And I walk forward, carrying Rosa's name like a banner, never theirs to take again,